Hello, everyone. I am Mrs. Blotter, and I'm going to help out a bit in teaching grammar. For the next 2 weeks, you'll be learning more about nouns or just studying them a little bit more deeply. But before we get started with that, I want to make sure that we have some general understanding of the difference between parts of speech and parts of a sentence, because they are different. And I know sometimes people get the two confused. So if you are being asked a grammar question or asked to analyze a sentence, you need to ask yourself, am I being asked for the part of speech or am I being asked for the part of the sentence? Sometimes you're being asked for both. But let's first start with part of speech. The part of speech is the way a word is used in a sentence. And there are 8 of them. And to help us remember what those 8 parts of speech are, I'd like you to take out your grammar notes and go to a blank page. And we're going to draw a picture together to help us remember what those 8 parts of speech are. And I'm going to go to Notability on mine. So if you need to pause and open up your notes, please do so. But once you do, open up to a blank page in your grammar section of your notes and write the title, Parts of Speech. And to help us remember, I have a picture that I draw. It's a street. And since we're at Pinewood, we'll call it Pinewood Street. And on this street, right across the street from each other, are 2 really big houses. They're the biggest houses on the street because every sentence needs to have these parts of speech. And that every sentence needs to have at least one noun, and every sentence needs to have at least one verb. Sorry for my messy drawing, but I'm not the best at notability. But you have our 2 big houses, nouns and verbs. Now over here in a little house right next to the noun, we can even call it a guest house. We're going to put our pronoun because pronouns can take the place of a noun. So anything a noun can do, a pronoun can do because they're there to take the place. So that's why they're in a little guest house next to the noun. And then right next door to the noun, we'll put a house where the adjectives live. And the adjectives are on this side of the street next to the nouns because their main job is to describe or modify or tell us more about nouns. And then right across the street from the adjectives, let's have another house. And this is another describing word or a modifier, and those are called adverbs. And we have this on the same side of the verb because typically adverbs describe or tell us more about the verb. All right, we still have 3 more parts of speech. One of them we're going to put here in the middle of the road because these parts of speech show relationships between words, and these are called prepositions. Little words that usually, well, not usually, always, typically start some sort of phrase like in, on, something you can do to a box. So those are prepositions, and we're putting them in the middle of the street because, again, they show relationships with all of these different words. We have another type of part of speech, and we're going to put it on a bridge that goes over the street because they join ideas and they join words. Those are called conjunctions. And, but, for, nor. So that's a joining word. That's why it's on a bridge. They bridge words together. And then finally, we have a word. We don't use this part of speech a lot, but we need to include it here. It's going to dash across the street because it interjects itself. Interjection. Hey, or oh my, or hallelujah. These are things that you throw into a sentence to show emotion. So there are our parts of speech on our Pinewood Avenue. And we'll be speaking more about nouns, but before we do that, we'll have another video about parts of the sentence.